Hello and welcome to another edition of the Father and Son Pastime Podcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
That's my dad. Today's feature is the Oakland Athletics. The Oakland Athletics continue our all-time dream team segment we've been doing now for a couple weeks. The Oakland Athletics obviously were sort of like slowly went across the country from Philadelphia to Kansas City, and now in Oakland. Maybe they'll be moved again. Just a couple things. If you're just joining us, what we do is we only are looking, obviously, at the Oakland Athletics. So we're looking at 68 to now, so we won't be talking about Philadelphia Athletics or Kansas City Athletics. You have had to have at least 3 years of service to the Oakland Athletics to be counted towards this Dream Team scenario, if that makes any sense. Dad, anything else before we begin?
No, but a lot of my references will come from the 70s when Oakland was the team. Oakland and Cincinnati used to go at it for many years in a World Series, and great baseball during that era. And just want to mention, we don't ever talk about the owners or anything like that, but Charles O. Finley, when he owned Oakland, was one of the ones that was very progressive. He's the one that let the players have their hair long. He said everybody wears a mustache. They had unbelievable uniforms.
They did.
In the 70s.
Yep. We'll get to that too.
Yeah, they had a Sunday uniform, was just unbelievable. But he said that baseball is entertainment. And he took the next step in making the game more entertaining, was the founder of the DH.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, Charles Finley did that. So he, as an owner, he was hated by the commissioner of baseball. Hated. But he said, hey, it's my team. I do what I want to do. And again, he was a guy that made Oakland cool. And really had a fun team. And they didn't like each other a whole lot in the clubhouse, but boy, did they play well.
That's awesome.
So it's great stories about Oakland and everything else, but I just want to preface that.
That's awesome. So we talk about each position player. We also talk about a DH as well, since we're talking about an American League team. Best starting pitcher, best reliever, like a setup man, best overall closer, and for the fun of it, we also talk about best manager in team history, as well as our favorite logo. In this case, really, Oakland only has 4 that we'll be talking about. Let's jump into catcher. Dad, you lead us off.
I have Gene Tenace.
Oh, tell me about Gene.
Gene was...
It's going to be nothing but 70s references, right? Okay.
It's going to be a lot of 70s. That's when they were great. And then you got to give the modern A's a lot of credit for having very little talent and competing every year. So if you really look at their lineup, they always come up with these young guys.
Yeah.
And they have a great farm system. And I tell you, they have just been phenomenal in the last 5 years competing for playoff spots with not a whole lot of payroll and not a whole lot of talent. But I do that. But anyway, back in the 70s, Gene Tenace was their star catcher, offensive catcher. Wore number 18, had a great mustache.
Can you tell that he's a little favoring?
Yeah, that's right. But was again one of the leaders in the clubhouse, kind of like Thurman Munson, tough guy. But again, just big part of the 70s era.
Nice. I went with more 90s, although most of my picks are 70s outside the catcher, as well as the second baseman and third baseman. But I went with Terry Steinbach, just because he was recently voted as the all-time fan favorite catcher. He had some good years behind the dish as well, but I went with Terry as my catcher.
I'm with you. I had him number 2.
First base. Now this could get controversial, and I'm sure it will. So just to preface this whole thing, I don't have a lot of Gold Glovers on my team. I have a lot of offense. I'm scoring a lot of runs.
Yeah.
I hope my pitchers are really good, so I hope they can, help with that production. But we're going to give up some runs too, I definitely imagine, just with some errors in the field. But for first base, I have Mark McGwire.
I concur.
Reason being is there weren't that many other great first basemen, and I do think before Mark really got juiced, I do think that he was a really good player. He had, just like Barry, he had a little bit of speed, he had some good average, and of course he gave all that stuff up for more power. But Mark McGwire with the Bash brothers, a little before I think Canseco got juice as well. I think McGwire still stands out to me as my starting first baseman.
Yeah, and when he was in college, he went to USC, Southern Cal. He was like 195 pounds. He was not a big man, but he was a much better defensive first baseman then. But he was a doubles gap kind of guy. And then all of a sudden, again, became a home run hitter. And, he's just one of those guys who will go down with a home run derby kind of with Sammy Sosa.
Chasing 98.
Right. And just, again, I think he still coaches one of the major league teams. I'm not sure which
I
one.
thought he was a Dodgers coach at some point.
Yeah, I think you're
yeah.
correct. I think he is. But again, I had Mark McGwire as well.
Okay, who do you have for second? Because second is a rough history for the Oakland Athletics.
I have Dick Green.
I'm never going to say this again, but tell me about Dick Green.
Dick Green was the star of the team before they got really good. So he wore number 1.
Okay.
And he wasn't the biggest second baseman in the world, but again, he was the leader, batted, lead off in the lineup, and again, one of the only all-stars they had for a long time because they didn't have anybody that was any good. So again, they had other people that that you probably will mention, but he again had longevity and was with the team for like 12 years. So that's who I chose.
I went with Mark Ellis. Just again, that is one of my only 2000 plus players on here.
Mm-hmm.
Just really good defense. He never came home with a Gold Glove, but I just thought he was a staple of the team for about a better part of a decade of the early 2000s, where again, not recall a lot of good Oakland teams that decade. So I went with Mark Ellis.
Yeah, I had him at number 2.
Awesome.
Joe Morgan was with Oakland for a little bit, but not the 3 years.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Who do you have for shortstop?
Bert Campaneris, number 19. Again,
Speed Demon.
He was one of the few players in one game played every position.
Oh, that's fun. In one game. Oh, wow.
And
he caught. Interesting.
He did. And again, one of the big, bright spots of the teams that were really good in the 70s and everything else. He was with Oakland A for 12, 15 years. So again, he was one of the popular ones, and again, great athlete.
Yeah. Fun fact about him, he has more stolen bases in his career than RBIs.
Wow.
Very impressive. He's also not in the Hall of Fame. A lot of people think that he was talented, but I think he'd be Hall of Very Good. But Bert, I chose Bert as well. He just got on this team's all-time dream team, but not Cooperstown's.
You know what? I'll just add 2 seconds. Walt Weiss was another very steady shortstop for Oakland.
I do remember Walt.
Yeah, for a number of years, and again, just in the history of shortstops, he was probably number 2.
Now, for third base, this is where my, again, most kind of recent pick comes in, as well as probably the best defensive person in my lineup. Feel free to sound off in the comments if you agree or disagree. But I went with Eric Chavez, 5-time Gold Glove winner, definitely another big staple for Oakland in the mid-2000s.
You're wrong. Sal Bando.
Yeah, okay. To who? Okay, sound off in the comments who chose
Salvatore Bando.
All right, tell me about your Italian guy.
He was the heart and soul. Even when Reggie was there and Joe Rudy was there, Sal was the captain of the team. He was unbelievable. Ward number 6. And I'm telling you, when it came to the championship A's during that era, Sal was the one.
Did you just choose the 1976 Oakland Athletics basically?
No, I have all the people in there. But Salvatore.
All right. Okay. This is off the rails. The outfield, I think, is going to be a little bit more easier to predict on this one. Left field, I obviously chose Rickey Henderson. I don't know if there's another choice in left, personally.
Ricky's the guy, but there was a guy named Joe Rudy that was really good as well. Again, during the time. Yeah, that's right. I mean, he was really good. But Rickey, I mean, who can deny what he did for that team? First leadoff hitter that had power and speed.
Yeah. He did have a lot of home runs.
Yeah, and again, think about all those head-first slides.
Yeah. He's still 130 bases one year, which is incredible. Most people don't get that in a career. Well, most average players don't get that in a career. Big Poppy's not getting that in a career.
The greatest thing about Rickey was they knew he was going to steal. They planned for him to steal, and he still stole.
Yeah, yeah, he did.
He had that much of a first step.
So Rickey Henderson is the all-time leader in obviously steals, right?
Yes.
But you know what he's also the all-time leader in?
Tell me.
Caught stealing.
Really?
So he is the epitome of you need to break a few eggs to make an omelet. So he's been caught stealing more than any other baseball player in history.
Huh.
So he was caught plenty of times, but he still got away with it more than he got caught.
Yeah.
So Rickey is my choice in left center.
Dave Henderson.
Another Henderson as I pick as well.
Yeah, and then he was later on, but he was a very steady, all-star for the Oakland Athletics. Again, a leader in the clubhouse. But again, as you went through the center fielders, you had a lot of people that spent 1 or 2 years in the center field. But Dave was a consistent player, played for a few other teams, but made his name in Oakland.
I agree. Moving to right, I went with Reggie Jackson. Another fun fact about Reggie, he's they have a lot of all-time leaders on this team, obviously, with Rickey has 2 all-time. Most strikeouts goes to Reggie Jackson. He has
Yes.
struck out more than
Yes.
any. Like I said, I got a lot of offense on this team. Got a lot of outs too. I'm just going to put Rickey and then Bert like as a 1-2 and just let them run. And then hopefully they get around.
Yeah, 3-run home run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reggie is my right fielder.
Just little known facts. Reggie played summer ball in Baltimore. He has Baltimore roots, played for the Orioles for half a season, but again, made really his fame in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. October.
Mr. October, yeah.
And Reggie defensively was not a bad outfielder. Had very strong arm, by the way, but much rather hit than field and everything else. But again, he's the one that he was not popular in the clubhouse. In fact, him and Gene Tenace used to have little disagreements once in a while. And
It's the 70s, right?
Yeah, it was, and they used to be fighting all the time. But Reggie again just had great talent. In an All-Star game in Detroit, one of the few players ever that hit it over the roof in Tiger Stadium.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
It's very impressive.
500 feet, they said.
So for DH, who do you have?
You'll like Jose Canseco.
I chose, yes, I could not put him in the field.
Yes.
I feel good about it.
Yeah, no, neither could the manager.
Yeah. He was a Yankee for like a half a season. A fun fact that a lot of people know.
Yeah. You know, I didn't meet him in Baltimore, but I was at opening day, and he was with, I forgot what team at that point, but he walked right past me with a 3-person security guard.
But he's massive. He can defend himself.
That's what we said. So we're standing there, and here he is walking to the hotel right across the street from the stadium, and the bouncers were big men.
Yeah,
as
sure
well.
they were.
So he said, hey, Jose, how are you? Good game, blah, 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 blah. And he just gave us a quick little nod and all that stuff. And the security people just went, and they said, okay,
Yeah,
no conversation
I'm gonna
here.
lose.
Yeah.
In a arm wrestling competition or a fight, whatever you guys want to say, Albert Bell or Jose Canseco?
Ooh. I think I'd take Albert.
Yeah, he's a
'Cause
big guy.
He was mad all the time.
Yeah, he was an angry player. He never played happy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think he might have the edge just kind of anger.
Shout out in the comments below. That's just a fun little thing.
That's right.
Now, for my pitching staff that I went with against, a starter, a setup man, and a closer, I feel like I'm real blessed that each one of these players is a Cy Young, which is, I don't know if I've chosen that, 3 Cy Youngs in a row like that. Do you want to, what do you want? You want to go first?
I'll go with starter with Catfish Hunter.
Me too.
Just unbelievable, consistent in his starting pitchers during the 70s and everything else. Always seemed to win 18 to 22 games. Had a good offense behind him, but always pitched a lot. Not like Bob Feller, but always pitched a number of innings. Took the ball, was very consistent, and again was the #1 starter for years.
Yeah.
Before he went to the Yankees.
Now, you always give me some trivia about older players that I certainly don't know because they're before my time. Do you know his real name? Because it's not Catfish.
Ooh, well, he's from North Carolina, I can tell you that. His nickname came from fishing and all that, but yeah, go for it.
James Augustus. So
No
probably
wonder
to stand out, I would change my name too.
Yeah, James Hunter doesn't have the same ring.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's forgettable.
Yeah, you can't do promotions with James Hunter.
Yeah. All my pitchers are in the Hall of Fame as well. So I chose Catfish, and then for relief, again, there's probably going to be a flip-flop here, but I went with Rollie Fingers, and then Dennis Eckersley as my closer. Very interesting fact about Rollie Fingers and Dennis Eckersley. They're in a very elite category as a reliever to only be the Cy Young winner and the MVP as a closer in the same year. There's only one other player to do that. Shout out in the comments below if you know who it is. Do you know who it is?
No, don't tell me.
Willie Henderson. Sorry, Willie Hernandez. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was with the Tigers in '84. Only other person to do it as a reliever to get the Cy Young and the MVP same year.
Yeah.
But 2 out of 3 are on my dream team of the Oakland A's.
And the Cubs traded him.
Hernandez?
Yeah.
Well,
Tell you something about the
I don't know who that guy was until today. So
yeah, left-handed, and I guess because he was left-handed, always had a little edge and did a lot of cutters and all that stuff. But yeah, now that you mentioned, I do remember that she had an unbelievable amount of saves in that era.
Did you have the same Rollie and Eck?
I did. Can you tell me what's in common between Catfish, Rollie, and Dennis?
They're all in the Hall of Fame.
Y'all have mustaches.
Oh my God. They're all white players. Yeah,
that is true.
There's a lot of common.
That is true.
Who is your favorite manager? Who you think was the best manager in Oakland's history?
A guy named Dick Williams, who was the manager.
So you got a Dick Green, you got a Dick Williams.
That's right. That's probably stop there if you're.
And you're talking about mustaches. Okay, all right. Tell me about Dick Williams. Whatever.
He again, I think when they were good, it seems like 5, 6 years in a row, always in the World Series, always against the Reds, it seemed like. But he was the manager during that time, and he had to kind of make sure that these guys, who really didn't like each other, played well and said, hey, for 3 hours, you guys have to get along to be, championship and all that stuff. But he had to corral all these characters that have them play as a team, and I thought that was an outstanding job. And again, he seemed to be a great manager and fairly strict with his players when that era was, it was the 70s.
Yeah. I went obviously a little bit more recent. I went Tony La Russa, Hall of Fame manager. He also got a World Series for the Oakland Athletics as well as 3 pennants. So I just kind of went with some hardware there. We obviously closed with our favorite logo. They've had 4. I know what I'm choosing, Dad. Which one are you choosing?
I'm going with the white shoes up here in the corner.
Yes. The very fun 70s outfits. Yep. So I'm sure add a mustache to that logo, and my dad would be really happy with that as well.
Well, that was the fun team back in that era, my friend.
I know. Yeah. And it was fun to watch them, I'm sure, in some goofy-ass colors.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Charlie Finley was such an innovator in the game of baseball. He drafted a player who ran track and field at Michigan State named Herb Washington. Put him on the roster. All he did was pinch run. So he
Tear and score.
So he had a player that all he did was run. If you look up his statistics, never batted, never played the outfield, never did anything. If they needed a run, somebody get on first base, they throw him in.
So was he in some sort of gap year between like Bert Campaneris and Rickey Henderson?
No, he was the same time.
So why do you have extra speed?
More speed.
I don't understand.
So let's say one of these guys, Sal Bando or Joe Rudy got on, Herb would go in there, steal second and third, hit a sacrifice fly, you got to run. And that was his philosophy.
I guess,
And he
manufacture runs.
Yeah, he was a track and field guy at Michigan State.
So he had no baseball skills?
None. None. He didn't know what a baseball was. But he got paid well.
So he would just steal, so he never even played like
Correct.
left field or anything like that?
Never. Just had a pair of shoes on, ready to go. True story.
It's different. I don't think it would fly today.
And he suggested that teams would have a designated runner. And he said he invented a designated hitter. He goes, hey, I have a designated runner. And he did, and it helped his offense.
Do you remember the time where if you were a pitcher on base, you had to wear a jacket?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 85 degrees, and you're like, okay.
I don't know.
Keep your arm loose.
Whatever.
I know.
Anyways, I just want to finish up with one thing. It's just a joke to Oakland fans. I was going to do, what is your favorite stadium in Oakland history? But you've only had one, because it's the same one since '68. Enjoy that Coliseum.
Yeah, I just don't understand why I guess they have to move, and it's political and all that stuff, but they really deserve a much better stadium than they play in. But I tell you, they, heads off, hats off to...
No hands.
Yeah, that's right. Hats off to the GM, Billy Bean, all those guys. They are always competitive, and I'm talking about a great GM.
Mm-hmm.
He is fantastic, and the current manager does a great job as well. So, just good for them. Yeah. One of my favorite teams.
Well, thanks you again for watching. This is one of our longer podcasts that we've had a while, just because we've had a lot of good stories, a lot of trivia. So share that with some people that you want to stump during this coronavirus lockdown. But again, please please subscribe to us. New videos every Tuesday and Friday until we get through all 30 MLB franchises. And then who knows what we'll do after that.
Yeah, and tell the audience we have received great comments.
Yeah.
And people have written us, and we'd be glad to get back to you. But, yeah, we discover some long-distance relatives and everything else.
Yes, feel free, again, to argue your favorite player, your better choice in the comments below. We love hearing some feedback from that. Cool.
Great.
Thanks for watching.
See you next time.